Hello and welcome to my OTSL game versus BHU, who I will be facing as the USA. We're playing in the OTSL semifinals, and it's a best of 5 series in which it's currently 1-1. Okay, this is a great hand. I'm really happy to see this. So of course the factors are great, and of course Purge is good. There is no case to be made for the 5-year plan here, I think. So it's between Purge and defectors, really. Korean War will probably be invented. Socialists will most likely be held or discarded to blockade. In which case, I'm probably not gonna hold anything else. Because if I want to space something, I space socialist, and if I do that, I do that on my last AR, which sucks. So I guess I will be headlining defectors and playing Purge for ups, or the other way around. I think I will go for that. So let's do this. And headline defectors. Getting a decal here would be great, but probably not gonna happen. However, Suez, Daegu, Vietnam, even Arab-Israeli war are all good hits. Capture Nazis not necessarily. Especially with me not going to space this turn. Like 90% at least, I think. Unless I take South Korea and then space Korean War, but I hate this play. I know some people like it. I think Zimowit is a fan of it, but I don't share that opinion. However, maybe now it's the time where I can make the case for it. I think it kind of depends on the moves. If he cuts me out of Iran... Okay, let's see this. Oh. Alright. So now I have to do that. And I probably want to exit Iran now. Going to Iraq is safer but less beneficial in the optimistic scenario. Going to Pakistan is a little bit more risky. I could also enter Malaysia, but I think that's the worst option. Going to Afghanistan doesn't grant me much. It secures access to Paki, I guess. Maybe it's not even that bad, but I think going to Iraq is fine here. Okay, now I'm really happy that I have socialists, so I don't have to worry about him headlining it next turn. The optimal scenario would of course be to hold decal or distal past the reshuffle, but if that's not possible, then I guess the best thing I could do is holding socialists, which is not a bad play itself. Well, okay, that means that South Korea is I mean, if I event Korean War now, it will be... Even if I win, I cannot take South Korea, but I can probably fight for it successfully in a couple of moves. Pakistan is of course a contentious country right now. It's vulnerable to coups. I'd like to go to Malaysia too. I could also try coupping Afghanistan, but I think it's better to just take Paki. The problem is that if he takes South Korea in response, then what? I probably take India? Okay, I think this is a fine moment to do this. Now if he coups Pakistan, now there's a price for coupping Pakistan, because he doesn't have a playable 4-up, like he doesn't have NATO. So now if he coups Pakistan, he can fail, and if he does fail, the price for it is that I just grab Thailand. And it's a pretty bad scenario for him, especially with me holding a 4-up, another one that he doesn't know of. I haven't thought much about Nasser. Whoa. Well, okay. I'm just gonna do that then. So I expect him now to take South Korea. And in response to that, I will probably just take India. I'm kind of short on ops, so I think I will be giving up Korean War to coup Iraq probably, because I have to lower the defcon and I have to get the milops somehow. So that will probably be what I do. Of course, the best case scenario would be if he had Asia. That would be great. Okay, he coups. That kind of looks like he has decall. What if he does? Do I event Korean War now? So I have to take Lebanon, that's for sure. Okay, I don't think I care about Angola. That's sad, but I don't think I can. So I will give up Korean War. That's fortunate. I will take Lebanon and threaten South Korea. Pretty fortunate rolls for me. Very bad roll in Italy for him, only 50-50 basically. Rolls in Pakistan and Iran not very impressive as well. Okay, since blockade is gone now, I could go to space with socialist and play independent reds on my AR6. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Since giving up Nasser would kind of free him from the burden of getting presence in the Middle East, which is a significant issue for him now, because he's clearly low on ops. This hand is really bad. So I'm not going to make it easier for him to get that Middle Eastern presence, especially like with this free up now he has a choice between taking South Korea and getting presence in the Middle East. If he wants to equalize it, he would have to take Iraq with it basically, which means kind of giving up on Asia. And then I have a choice between taking Egypt or securing Asia, like even more, defending against decall in Vietnam, for example, by taking Laos and Thailand or something like that. Okay, he chose something in between. I will just do this, I think. I could take South Korea with the China card next turn after he cues Iran or something. I think this is reasonable. Okay. This is a very solid hand. It has 2 scorings, but I don't mind the scorings that much. Okay, if he has decall, then he can technically stop me from dominating Asia, and he will. Vietnam doesn't do the trick. Distal does, but he wastes 1 op to take South Korea, which is not stupid. Indo-Pakistani war doesn't flip the domination. Okay, so it's basically between decall, distal, Suez crisis. I have to be afraid of something. There is no good headline here, unless I want to headline US-Japan, but that's my major source of ops. Huh. I don't think it's stupid to headline US-Japan here. Okay, I think this is the safest option and I will just go for it. Okay, this is a very important war. Okay, that's again really lucky. Oh, this game would be really... This roll could have equalized this game significantly. Like, it would almost be... I would say it would almost be equal because I don't see any D cards. Okay, now I guess I will just take India here. I could fight for South Korea, but I basically have to retake Iran, right? There's no discussion here. I guess the most important question right here is, do I enter Angola? The answer is I don't know. Sure. I think my situation in the early war countries is really good and I don't need to overcommit to them. I will assume the worst case scenario and play safe. I will probably be holding Nasser again, which means that the goal can go to space, especially with it being really destructive to my European and North African situation. So I have 1 space, 2 ops cards and 2 scorings. I'll probably try to drop Europe, go to space, play for ops, drop Asia, play for ops. Okay, he forces me to respond to Angola immediately. I will. Okay, I think I cannot really fight for South Korea without China here. So I will just take Angola, take India, and he will probably in response take Algeria fully and take South Korea. Maybe enter Israel, which would be a bit problematic, I admit, but I will allow that. Marshall, okay, he gives up on Europe, which is probably reasonable, I would guess. He could also go for Saudi, but I think he wants to take Algeria and he wants to take South Korea, so I would expect him to not do that. Putting 2 into Saudi is a bit random here. Or maybe he doesn't care about one of those. Maybe he just takes Algeria and... I don't know, he does more or less what I thought he would. Okay. Well, neither of those will get better, but probably neither of those will get worse, so that's not a big difference. I don't think he would headline Event Suez, but there's also nothing he can use in Asia to improve his position there. Okay, let's start with Europe in case he wanted to go for Suez for some weird reason. Makes sense. Maybe I could have started with spacing the goal, but I despise waiting with 2 scorings in hand and going to space. I don't like that at all. Okay, now I will take Egypt in case he has the Middle East. He doesn't have a 5-year plan, so if he has the Middle East, he will have to drop it here. He's thinking about the move though, so he probably doesn't have it. Containment. This is actually fine. There are a couple of moves I have. I can still space the goal, or I can space Nasser, or I could take Libya and retake France with the goal, making myself vulnerable to socialists, but getting domination in the Middle East. Middle East is just about to be scored, and the probability of him getting socialists back isn't that huge, so I think I will go for it. I don't want to let him off the hook in the Middle East. Okay, so this is again a very strong hand. The problem is that he got distal, which is a major issue. However, Middle East is just a safe source of 3 VPs, so I will take that. He got Fidel, he got Cambridge. He may headline Cambridge if he's scared of defectors. He's got worse, so okay, his hand looks decentish, but again, not a lot of ops, at least from the cards I see, and the redraw of Nuclear Test Ban and the fact that I drew NATO makes me pretty rich, very strong. And Middle East scoring is really good here because it's a good headline, so I don't have to worry about that too. Theoretically, if he had the Middle East, he could have been attempting to coup Libya, but I don't think that would be the case. I think he would probably go for Angola. Anyway. He's probably debating between headlining Distal, which is the optimal headline, and going for something like Cambridge or Vietnam to avoid potential defectors. He knows I have the Middle East, which is a good headline, but he also knows that I know he has Distal, so it is fully possible that I redraw defectors and headline them. And he's in a position in which if he headlines defectors, if he headlines Distal and that gets defected, he's basically out of this game. Unless, like, you're never truly out of the game, but it would be really, really hard for him to get back. He would really need to get Junta before I get any access. Probably Brush. Like, yeah. Oh man. This hurts. This hurts to watch. That's brutal. Okay, so I see what he was going for. He was hoping that I had land effectors to counter distal and instead get that, but I think that was a correct decision 100%, by the way. And that's again very unlucky. This sucks. I would have done the same thing. This was absolutely correct. I will be spacing this decal, probably holding Fidel and Suez and playing China. How do I feel about the moves now? He got Panama, so I can't enter Colombia, and he failed, so I will enter Colombia. I will probably use a 4-up now. Maybe I give up Fidel. Or I give up Suez. I think it's actually reasonable to do something like this. Okay, it's probably not that reasonable. Because I would still have to give up on the domination for a while. Okay, so maybe do something like this. But with NATO, because he knows that one. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. He didn't take it out of Afghanistan, interesting. I have really bad news for you, buddy. I'm sorry. This is unreasonable. This shouldn't happen. It reminds me of a game I played against Kasia, in which I did a similar thing, and it was a good play unless she redrew like a 4-up, which was like 1-off in the deck, and she did. In this case, it cannot even be the case where... I mean, okay, technically he could have had RSP. Our RSP was kind of the only thing that was going to save him here, but he didn't. Again, really, really brutal. Now I achieved what I wanted to achieve in South America. He could, of course, try going for some coups in Colombia to flip Venezuela, but if he does that, I get my mill-ups, which is, again, achieving my goals one way or another, even if I lose the country. It would suck, of course, to lose Venezuela here, but... having a significant advantage in South America looks like a starting point for him. Not like a luxury. He kind of needs to get me out of Venezuela, but he apparently decides to do that next turn, which is... it may be fine. What I'm really tempted to do is to enter Mexico with Nasser and on my AR6 take Cuba and Mexico with the China card and try to snipe early Central America scoring with my control, ideally. It's of course... I mean, if I get a really shitty hand, that would be sad. But I think you generally may want to get rid of... oh man. Before the mid-war anyway. I will do this. I could enter Colombia here too to get some access to Venezuela, but I don't really care enough. It's hard to say if that was good or bad for him that he rolled a 1. Most importantly, it doesn't let me get a counter coup, but... Okay, this is a very, very weird hand. It's weak, of course. It lacks good headlines. It has 3 1-ups and 2 of them are shortening my hand. This is a bad hand. It's a really bad hand. It's probably not as bad as it looks because U2 and OPEC are kind of playable. But it's still not good. Well, okay, I really want to squeeze as much out of Southeast Asia as it's possible, so I think going for Camp David headline is the only right thing here. Okay, this sucks too. Okay. This may be some kind of a winds change in the game. This hand is really hard to manage, especially without the China card. Now I wish I had it. Okay, and now he got a really, really strong hand, at least from the cards I see. And this is also very reasonable. Unfortunately, my opponent is a good player. I would prefer it to not be that way, but it apparently is. Very strong move. Despite all this, I think still the best play here is queuing Nigeria with Summit, which looks like such a bad play. In the worst case scenario, I could still UN blockade instead of discarding Suez to it, but that feels so bad. Okay, like, let me just check. If I do that, this is 6 now. But this smells. This is if I do this is incredibly obvious what I'm doing. But okay, but how does he respond to that? He cannot realign, he cannot coup. He cannot play ops either. He would basically need either to get a VP, but I have 2 of the VP sources he may have, or to event something. So he would need Brush or ABM. Like maybe Cultural to get a VP or Willy Brand, but if he does that, I'm fine with it. Maybe we will bury you, but I have UN intervention. But I kind of need to use the UN intervention here to do that. Unless I go for Suez Crisis without UN intervention, but that's like such a troll play. This would be incredible. Probably incredibly bad, what I mean to say. Look, doing this? Are you crazy? Am I crazy? Vietnam is on the discard, so Vietnam is up for grabs too. If he has South America scoring, he just drops it, then I coup Nigeria and we're playing the game. But my Europe is fucked because Suez. But if I give him OPEC or U2, yeah, there's no good out. There is no good way out here. Man. Okay, this at least kind of. Okay, this is a smooth play. It sucks, but it's smooth in a way. It gives up on France, but kind of solves all my problems and dilemmas and lets me play the game as I want it to be played. I just tell him, yeah, sure, you can go for the French control and European domination if you want that. But I have kind of solved my hand issues. I will now UN blockade and play 2 playable red 3-ops, Space Fidel, score my scoring. I'm creating a threat of immediately ending the game. If he doesn't have a response to that, it's just over. I think this is a correct play. As much as it feels bad to do that, especially with blockade in hand. He of course knows I have Southeast Asia. Because there is literally no other reason for me doing that. There is none. The weakness of this play is that I don't have any source of VPs, and I have 2 cards that give him VPs, which means that it's... Like, if he gets 1 VP now, I cannot end this game. I mean, I can go for Philippines, and then we're repeating the same thread, I guess. But okay, he just didn't have it. So there's nothing he could have done this game, I think. It was just brutal. Well, at least this was a quick game, I guess. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you, in a while when we do our 4th game.